Επιστρέψαμε κυρίες και κύριοι με το δεύτερο μέρος της εκπομπής Ευρώπη Τώρα. Πάντα στο Thrakinet και σε συνεργασία με το Europal TV. Ας δούμε το επόμενο μας θέμα. Η μεταεπαναστατική Τινησία συνεχίζει ακάθεκτη το δρόμο της προς τη δημοκρατία. Αλλά η οικονομία της έχει μείνει πίσω.
In 5 years, how much can a country change? Tunisia has seen off a despot, inspired revolution across a continent, and despite being the victim of terrorist attacks by IS, it has managed to stay on the democratic path. The President of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz, has been on an official visit to the country. He paid homage to the victims of the Bardo Museum terrorist attack in Tunis in March last year.
Il n'est pas surprenant que la Tunisie était le cible des terroristes djihadistes parce que le modèle de cette société est le contraire de ce qu'ils veulent. Donc pour nous, les Européens, un devoir incontournable de coopérer avec la Tunisie.
And part of that cooperation included a formal meeting with the Prime Minister of Tunisia, Habib Assid. In 2013, Tunisia, like other Arab Spring nations, teetered on the brink of civil war. Before civil society groups uniting under the banner of the Civil Society Quartet drew up an action plan to steer Tunisia to democracy. President Schulz also met with the quartet, who awarded the 2015 Nobel Peace Prize. But possibly Tunisia's biggest problem is turning around their economy.
Le secteur touristique est, comme nous l'avons vu pendant les derniers mois, à genoux. Il faut le redresser.
Tourism that accounted for 6.5% of GDP was shattered following a deadly IS attack on Hotel Beach in Sousse.
L'hôtel était à 80% d'auto d'occupation, on était à 627 clients. Aujourd'hui, comme vous voyez, l'hôtel est fermé.
Η Ευρώπη με μια νέα πλατφόρμα συντονισμού προσπαθεί να καταπολεμήσει την αδήλωτη εργασία.
Europe has a sizable number of jobs and workplaces that are off the radar of the tax and labour authorities. Every year that's an average of just under a fifth of the EU's €13 billion GDP. Policing this is up to individual member states, but with so much cross-border movement of workers, the EU has a significant role to play, as Georgi Pirinsky, the Bulgarian MEP steering legislation through Parliament, explains.
Perhaps you can just define for me, first of all, what is undeclared work?
It is legal work which is performed, but it is not properly declared before the competent authorities. People being employed in undeclared work are very often severely at a disadvantage and are denied basic social and labor rights under law. But also there is a severe impact on the internal market in the sense of unfair competition. And last but not least, this undeclared work denies tax and social security systems of due income.
And what sort of companies and economic operations are you talking about here?
It is the construction industry, it is agriculture, it is tourism, also the care services, domestic work. In many of these, undeclared work is a very sizable and painful proportion of those employed.
What is the platform?
Basically what the platform is a venue for responsible examination of information, sharing of best practices. Each member state is expected to designate a senior authorized representative who within the member state is able to liaise with all the authorities having to do with regulating undeclared work, from labor inspectorates to the tax and social security systems. Member states should feel quite comfortable with the observance of the subsidiarity principle, that is, they are free to either undertake or not undertake any action they consider, but also seeking the value added at union level. Because clearly, especially when it's a matter of cross-border undeclared work, it is not up to simply the possibilities of an individual member state. There has to be this both enhanced information sharing, enhanced examination of experiences.
How much undeclared work do you think has arisen as a result, first of the crisis and secondly of austerity measures?
The competitive environment in markets has become more acute with the recession. And then there are the structural factors. Let's say the lack of employment in many countries in the eastern, southeastern, southern part of the European Union, and people migrating to countries where more employment is available. And here, again, you see there is a significant degree of unfair practices of companies, operators, who contract labor and then put them in precarious working conditions, have them accept conditions which initially were not at all clear that would be actually the way they would be working and living. And again, this is something which has to do perhaps also with austerity measures which have squeezed much of the funds going to, let's say, active market policy measures. So it's a complex set of factors, but very much to do with both structures, recession, and austerity.
What would you say at the end of it all to those people who may find themselves working in undeclared work, but who have a job and are grateful for that?
There is need of many of these people employed in such work to have where to turn to seek, even if you like, information on their rights, understanding for the problem they are facing, protection. Actually, there are really drastic cases where people suffer physical harm, where they are housed in next to impossible conditions, and where they really need a recourse to an institution or a body or a place where they can bring their concerns. And the knowledge that there is this problem, platform, that there are responsible representatives of each member state sitting there who are clearly responsible for seeing that drastic infringements on basic rights do not take place, is something very important.
Okay, Georgi Pirinski, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for your
interest.
interest.
Η Ευρωβουλευτή Σιλβί Γκιγιόμ απαντά στις ερωτήσεις πολιτών στο Facebook σχετικά με την κατάσταση των προσφύγων και τη δράση της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης επί του θέματος.
3 billion euros and the opening of a new chapter in its bid to access the EU, that's what member states offered Turkey in November 2015. In exchange, Ankara committed to take measures to stem the flow of migrants passing through its borders to join the EU. French MEP Sylvie Guillaume went to Turkey to assess the situation in the camps and answered the most asked questions on Facebook by the European Parliament's followers on the situation. Turkey has stepped up to accommodate over 2.5 million refugees from Syria. Describe what you've seen there.
Manifestement, il y a des efforts importants de la part des autorités ici de prendre en charge un volume important de personnes, environ 15 000. Il y a des hôpitaux, des écoles, des supermarchés, bref, un certain nombre de facilités, comme on dit, qui permettent à cette population au moins de se poser. Mais les questions ne sont pas résolues pour la suite et il faudra encore fournir beaucoup d'efforts pour se projeter dans l'avenir.
Are you confident that with the EU and Turkey working together, we can find a solution to the refugees crisis?
Ce dont je suis persuadée, c'est que si on ne discute pas, on n'arrivera à rien. Ça, c'est tout à fait clair. Donc cette discussion, elle est entamée. Elle repose pour l'instant sur un accord qui est intervenu entre les autorités turques et les autorités européennes, une forme de deal qui, au terme duquel la majorité des personnes qui sont enregistrées ici doivent rester sur le territoire turc en contrepartie d'un soutien, d'un support encore plus important de la part de l'Union européenne. Mais je crois qu'on ne peut pas en rester à des moments particuliers. Il faut pouvoir se projeter dans l'avenir et anticiper un certain nombre d'autres crises.
Some people say, let's close the borders completely and don't let any other refugees in. How would you respond to that?
Je leur dirais volontiers de venir sur place et de voir ce que représente l'espoir de pouvoir au moins se poser dans un endroit où on n'est pas sous un champ de bombes. Mais je comprends ces réactions, je comprends les peurs. Ce que j'admets moins et ce que je ne peux pas soutenir, c'est qu'on agite ces peurs pour faire en sorte que finalement les égoïsmes nationaux soient renforcés.
Ο πρόεδρος της ομάδας προϋπολογισμού μιλά για την προσφυγική κρίση κατά την επίσκεψή του στην Τουρκία.
A delegation of parliamentarians led by French MEPs Sylvie Guillaume and Jean Arthus visited camps in Turkey. As chief of the budget delegation, Jean Arthus met with Turkish officials. His mission: make sure EU funds are spent the right way. He also answered questions asked by citizens on Facebook. Turkey has stepped up to accommodate over 2.5 million refugees from Syria. Describe what you've seen there.
I must recognize the efforts accomplished, implemented by the Turkish authorities. But you know, in the camps, only 10% of the refugees are hosted. And we have to consider also the conditions offered to refugees who are not in the camps.
Are you confident that with the EU and Turkey working together, we can find a solution to the refugees crisis?
We have probably reacted quite slowly, but everybody is in the right position to be efficient now. We have founded a trust fund for Syria, and credits are accessible, and heads of state and government have just confirmed their agreement for the 3 billion budgetary easy.
Some people say, let's close the borders completely and don't let any other refugees in. How would you respond to that?
Some European countries are responsible of the source of migration. We have to re-establish as soon as possible peace in the Middle East. Most of those refugees have one desire: come back to their home country.
Κάπου εδώ, κυρίες και κύριοι, ολοκληρώθηκε ακόμα μία εκπομπή Ευρώπη Τώρα. Σας ευχαριστούμε θερμά που μας παρακολουθήσατε. Θα τα ξαναπούμε την επόμενη εβδομάδα, την ίδια ώρα. Να είστε όλοι καλά. Καλή σας νύχτα.